It's 4 o'clock Friday, and you know what that means. It's Flirty Friday. I'm Susanna, the date maven, and I work with professional growth-minded singles across North America as a dating coach and matchmaker. That means each week I get to bring you some information about how to date with more fun and more dignity and more ease, and just all around have a better experience with dating. And each week I also try to bring a friend along on the show who can share some of their own expertise. So this week I'm really thrilled to have Sarah Yost joining me.
Yes.
Sarah also lives and works here in Wichita, Kansas, as I do, and she is a life coach and sex coach. And I really love having her as a resource because every once in a while I'll be working with a client and we'll kind of come into that area of sensitivity but yet great importance, which is sexuality. And it's so connected to all things dating and attraction and mating, so it's not, I can't avoid it. I don't want to avoid it. I also feel like they're better served with Sarah's support in that department. So it's so good to just kind of have you on speed dial for those people. Yeah. So Sarah and I put our heads together and we wanted to talk a little bit about the concept of self-sabotage as it relates to how people are conducting their search for someone wonderful or their social lives. And Sarah's got a lot of work going on around self-sabotage in all arenas, professional, personal.
Yes.
Do you want to say a little bit about kind of how this really got to be a hot topic for you, and what led you to this point? Like, I know you're offering a 30-month challenge and all that, and we'll get to that later, but what led you here?
Yeah, well, self-sabotage is something that I address with every single person that I work with. So I think it's part of the human condition that we have sort of a set point for success in every area of our life. And so when we are coming up against that area, we start doing weird things to sabotage so that we don't get to another level, just because it's really uncomfortable. There's a lot of fear and whatever behind that. We'll talk more about that. So I deal with it with every single person I work with.
So we set our own ceiling and we don't break through.
Exactly.
We might hit our heads on it over and over and over.
Right.
I know there's a book by Gay Hendricks about the Big Leap.
Yep.
Is that one you
That's
reference
it.
sometimes?
I do. It's one of my top 5 go-to books.
Yeah. And so I'll just share personally, I am looking at this subject from the perspective of someone who was deep in self-sabotage for a while. I'll own it. Yeah, you know. and I worked with Sarah, and for me it was just so many things had to happen to sort of undo my attachment to that or my conditioning to that. I mean, in some ways we make it a habit. We create habits within our lives and patterns within our lives that just reinforce the self-sabotage, whether it's weight loss or work ethic or relationships with kids or relationship with significant other.
Yes.
So I'm not in like an overnight, switch the light bulb kind of learner. I'm going to feel the pain a long time kind of learner. But then I finally have realized this year and in recent months how much freer it can be to just kind of go, I don't need to do that anymore.
Right.
Yeah. So what about in the area specifically of dating? Because that's kind of what people are looking for, or some just easy to apply ways. Maybe even this weekend. I mean, it's Friday.
Yeah.
Maybe people who are watching are going out on a first meet someone they've met online or on an app, or going to a bar, or going to a friend's birthday party, or a friend's giving. I think there's some of those.
Yes.
So you're out and about this weekend. You think you are putting yourself out there, making yourself available to meet someone fantastic. What are some of the ways people might be sabotaging themselves?
Yeah. So there are 4 areas that we look at. There are lots of areas that we look at. There are 4 main ones. And the first one is not wanting to be seen and hiding out. So let's say that you go through the motions, just like you said, you go through the motions of getting out there. Are you out there and then also letting yourself be seen, or are you just on your phone the whole time, or are you talking to your friend the whole time, or are you constantly thinking about how you hate everybody, or they're all gonna hate you?
Yes.
Right. Look at all these losers.
Yes.
Or look at how awesome they are, and they're gonna think I'm a loser.
I'm so great, and by virtue of being here, I'm gonna be lumped in with the losers. I mean, I know that sounds rude, but that is the script that is often going on in someone's head.
Yeah. Well, when you have fear going on, you either have to be better than other people or less than other people, which is I think what we're all craving in every area is a deep connection. And certainly with dating and relationships, that's what we're craving, is deep connection. And so it's so fascinating that we will do the exact opposite. We will cut ourselves off from the people around us because we're craving a deep connection.
Yeah.
Which sounds ridiculous.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we all do it to
It's
some
totally
degree.
contrary to our stated purpose.
Right.
So, and like you, I've over the years I've hosted some singles events, wine tastings and cocktail events, or cooking or dancing or whatever. And I've been amazed to see like noses buried in technology as I look around the room. Maybe they're checking the sports scores or Facebook or whatever, but it's a way of kind of insulating oneself against, I'm standing here alone with no one to talk to.
And it's scary and it's uncomfortable and it's just part of the deal. And so if you're going to go out there and be seen, I'm going to suggest that you put your phone down. And because it is such a pull, you get a dopamine hit every time there's a notification, every time there's anything there, and you don't have to feel that deep discomfort. But without feeling the discomfort, you don't get the reward that's on the other side.
Right.
So I want you to put down your phone and then look around for somebody that looks like your kind of person. No matter where you are, there's somebody that you can connect with, male or female.
Yeah, that's a good thing to add, because oftentimes you're there to meet not necessarily the next love of your life, but maybe the person who could connect you to them.
Right.
So I always tell people, don't just scan the room for the person you think that you're going to be attracted to. Scan the room for the person who might be their mother, their father, their sister, their brother, their coworker.
Totally.
So it's 6 degrees of separation, only really condensed down to 2 or 3.
And if you make a good connection, let's say you meet somebody, you're not interested in dating them, maybe it's another gal pal. If you put yourself in that energy of feeling like yourself and feeling comfortable, that sets you up for the next 30 minutes so that you feel more comfortable.
Yeah, you really only have to get through small segments of time.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm here and I have to be here 3 hours or all night or till the last person goes home. Just get to the next minute and the next minute and the next minute. And if you need to say to someone, hey, you want to stand here and look and feel awkward together? It's just a lighthearted, fun, breaking the ice kind of thing to say.
One of my favorite lines that I use at social events is, there's 2 things I do. One is I always look for people that I can compliment. Always look for people I can compliment, and I make great connections that way. It's disarming. I feel good because I'm getting out of my, I like a genuine compliment. I don't make things up. You can make great connections that way. And then the other thing is just the line, hey, I don't think I've met you yet.
Yeah. That's perfect.
It's a good one, right?
Yeah. I mean, your goal is to meet as many people as possible, so it's honest. There's nothing disingenuous about it.
Yeah.
I love it. If you see someone even who they're not watching this show or practicing the advice, and they are nose deep in the phone, I mean, I wouldn't feel bad or reluctant about going up and saying, what's so interesting, or what you got going on there? Just kind of like breaking in a cozy, lighthearted way.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So, okay, so that was the first tip, and then you said there's 3 more big ones.
Yeah, there's 3 more areas. And so another way that you might get in your own way in dating is not being true to your word. And that is both with the person, if you're canceling events, if you're not doing what you say you'll do, if you're working with a coach and you're not following through on your homework, for example. But then really most importantly is not being true to your own word, what you say. For example, maybe you have a hard line about having sex on the first date, and then you break that. You break your own word. And what you do is you're teaching yourself that you can't be trusted. Or maybe, you have some things in place for safety. If you're meeting people online, there are some basic common sense things that you should do. For example, you should always meet them out in public. Don't have them come to your house. Don't go to their house. Google as much as you can about them. Tell somebody their name and where you're going. There are some basic common sense things. And if you compromise any of that in order to be liked or in order to not look like a problem or any other reason, then you're not being true to your own word.
I really want to spend time there because when I think back through my life, I certainly was more inclined to do that in my 20s.
Sure. And
some in my 30s.
Sure.
And then by my 40s, I'm like, I just don't do that anymore. And I think a lot of women, and maybe men too, feel that way. The older you get, the more experience you have, the wiser you are, the more true to yourself and your own word you're able to be.
Totally.
I wish I could go back in time and give my younger self that gift of, you don't have to please all the guys all the time. You don't have to please all the party hosts all the time.
It's not your job to please them.
It's not your job.
Ever.
Yeah. And I think too, the other tricky thing that gets involved in the scenario you described is people are often drinking in order to put themselves more at ease and release some of that tension, and then sometimes too much. And then that's when those promises with oneself get broken, is when one's judgment is compromised because of alcohol.
And that is why it's a great idea to make your decisions ahead of time. Yes, if you're drinking, it's easier to break those decisions, but don't be trying to make decisions while you're drinking. That's terrible.
That's
time.
too late.
It's too late.
The ship has already left the port at that point.
When you're centered, when you're feeling good, when you're feeling confident at home is when you make your decisions about who you're going to be and how you're going to interact.
So good tips for preserving our self-respect and not sabotaging. What's the third piece you want people to remember?
Not having good boundaries. So a boundary is just having an idea of what's okay with you. A boundary is just like, this is what's okay with me, and letting people know, either verbally or just energetically. People kind of know who to mess with and who not to mess with, And so one of the things that people will do is compromise their boundaries. They'll say one thing and do another. They all kind of blend together. Let somebody talk poorly to you. Let somebody treat you poorly. Let somebody show up late when it's important to you that people show up on time. Like all of these little ways that we cross boundaries with people.
Well, let me get into a specific example that's coming to my mind and kind of see if you think about this, what I think about this. So if for someone who's saying, all these guys are just sending me dick pics, I wish they'd stop. They just keep sending me dick pics. Do you see that as a boundary issue?
I mean, if one guy sends you one dick pic one time,
that you didn't want,
that you didn't want, that's not an issue. There's a great meme out there where what you could do is just, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can.
Do we need to share a meme in the comment section?
Maybe in the comment section.
Let's see. Okay, can Sarah say something colorful and saucy right now? Let me know, Facebook. I'm gonna say yes because apparently I'm not getting any. Okay.
So basically, if somebody sends you a dick pic, you could just say, "Why are you sending me a child's penis?" I'm gonna report that immediately. So that's a great comeback.
That is golden,
right?
That
so good. I got it from a meme.
Why are you sending me?
I get everything from memes. No, just kidding. So that's a great response. So if a guy sends you an unwanted dick pic one time, that's not a boundary violation. But if the same guy continues to send them, yes, it's a boundary violation.
Because it's on you to set that boundary.
It's on you to say not interested.
Can I just say, we are for sure live? Because my phone is okay. I'm like out of touch here. I don't. Okay, sounds good. Okay. Oh, there we go. Oops. I am so happy that I don't have to make all the things work. Okay.
But yes, dick pics are a huge one. I don't know, guys. Don't ever.
Unless you're in a thing with
if you're in a thing and you want to share images.
But wait for that definition of the situationship.
Yes.
We wouldn't even call it a relationship.
Yes.
Okay, other ways that boundary violations sometimes come up in dating. Anything come to mind? I want to see if the people watching.
Well, the fourth area that I want you to really consider is not remembering your why, and really it's probably not identifying your why. So what are you looking for as you're out there? What kind of person are you looking for? What kind of relationship are you looking for? And what is important to you? And if you can really identify that, and B, stay connected to that, that will serve you so well when you're trying to set boundaries, when you're trying to work up the courage to be seen, when you're trying to be true to your own word. So if you can connect with what's important to you and let that be your guiding vision.
I like that. We hear a lot about define your why or what's your why in the business world, but it's so relevant in our personal lives as well.
Totally.
Figuring out, am I going to say yes to helping with the bake sale? Am I going to say yes to volunteering with the neighborhood garage cleanup or whatever? And knowing as you're swiping or you're online or whatever, knowing your why really helps you to know who to respond to, who to engage with. If your dating purpose is to find someone wonderful to spend the rest of your life with, that's a very different why than if your dating purpose is, I got tickets to a concert coming up in 10 days. I just want someone to go with me.
Totally.
Or
both equally valid.
Yeah, both totally valid.
Yes. And so I use with my clients when they date, I use a formula, which is one paragraph about who I am, one paragraph about who I'm looking for, and one paragraph about what kind of relationship I'm looking for. And if you can do the work of identifying who you are, let's hope you're there. If not, we can chat.
We'll start there then.
And 2, who you're looking for, and 3, what type of relationship you're looking for. Just looking for somebody to have fun, go out, got these concert tickets, or I'm really looking for the love of my life.
Who you are, what you want, and what you have to offer is kind of my version of the same exercise, the same conversation. Yeah. So if you are single and socializing and you're finding some light bulb, some illumination going on here around self-sabotage and dating, please feel free to weigh in. We would love to hear your comments. If you have specific questions you want us to answer, we'll tackle those as well.
Absolutely.
Now,
I'll watch the comments section for sure.
As a dating coach, I want to share with you some of my favorite, what I observe people doing to self-sabotage, some illustrations. So one of the things that I hear often is, I'm too busy with my job to date. I'm too busy with work to get out and go to all these places you're telling me to go, Susanna, and do all these things you're telling me to do. Okay, sure. Whatever you say.
Right.
You are as busy as you want to be. You choose how to spend your time, how to invest.
Right.
We all have a finite amount of time, but we really do. We spend it according to what our values are and what's most important to us.
Exactly.
So where there's a will, there's a way.
And that might be an area where you need to look at your boundaries. Why it's worth spilling over into so many areas.
Why am I such a slave to this?
Right.
Yeah.
It's easier to be a slave to work than to go stand without my phone at a
Facing
social
the
event.
rejection.
I mean,
because
let me do something I'm great at.
Work is validation.
Totally.
Work tells you how important and needed you are.
Right.
And this other area, not so much.
Yeah, exactly.
So one of the other things that I will often hear my clients say, which I feel is very self-sabotaging, is they'll say, oh, I don't want to use any dating apps. I'm not into the dating apps. Either they think they're above it, it's like only the lowest hanging fruit is on the dating apps, or they had a bad experience or a friend had a bad experience, and so they think all dating apps are bad, all people on dating apps, they make generalizations.
Can I just say, I love everything about dating apps. If you don't want to go out in public, don't listen to this, Susanna. If you don't want to go out in public, get on the dating apps.
It's kind of your only choice. If you're not going to hire a
yes.
matchmaker, hint, hint, or you're not going to follow a social strategy that someone like me creates for you, the dating apps are what's
I
left.
have great luck on dating apps.
Yes.
I'm just plugging dating apps. But yes, they do. They blame the dating apps when it's just a tool. That's like blaming your phone because somebody sent you a dick pic.
Yeah, or blaming your computer because your printer didn't work or something like that. I mean, it is just a tool.
Right.
And I think people sometimes get so personally invested or wrapped up in something not performing the way they want it to, and that's just sort of part of the game. It's when you're hunting for a job, you put your resume on Career Builder or Indeed or Glassdoor or whatever. You put it on LinkedIn. If you are looking for social connection or love, you need to use this tool to get yourself the visibility
Exactly.
that it takes. Okay, so that's another self-sabotage that I hear.
That's a great one.
Sometimes people will say, instead of I'm too busy with work, it's I'm too busy with my kids or my aging parents or whatever. And in no way am I disparaging people's responsibilities to the ones they love. But again, boundaries.
Boundaries. And so what's important to you? So do you want a relationship? If so, you're going to have to do the work of finding a relationship and then being in the relationship and sharing that time and space with another person.
Sometimes, too, people will use the phrase, well, I've been thinking about working with you or hiring you, but I just want to wait till I lose this 20 pounds. So they have some kind of diet and weight loss goal in mind that is there. They've got to check that off before they can really engage with me. And on the one hand, I understand that they perceive that they're going to feel more confident and that they're going to have more options. I get that. I honor that. At the same time, when that 20 pounds just never gets lost and it's, January of 2018 and then it's January of 2019 and then it's January of 2020, then that's just an excuse and it's self-sabotage.
Totally.
So there is someone for everyone at any height, weight.
And do you want to be with somebody that's with you for the size of your butt or the size of your brain and heart? heart.
Aw, that's really sweet.
I know.
Let's make a meme out of that.
Yeah.
I have risque comments that I'm really restraining right now.
Listen, if you're worried about how you look, I get it.
Yeah.
I got in the dating world after, I was 40, I think, and my body was not the same as it was when I was 20, and I hadn't been with anybody but my husband.
Yeah.
Since I had a 20-year-old body, I've had children since then, I've lost weight. It's not looking the same under here as it did when I was 20. And my friend gave me the best advice. I said, I look weird. And she said, everybody looks
weird.
And I'm telling you, I've seen a lot of bodies in the last few years, and everybody looks a little weird. Like once you hit a certain age,
But
it's
still,
all good.
They still feel pretty good.
They feel great. They feel better than they did when I was 20.
Ooh,
Let me say that.
Isn't that fun?
Right.
All right. Okay, so here's another little bit of self-sabotage. Is
Okay.
people will say to me, well, I don't think you understand just how picky I am. I'm very picky. I've dated a lot of fill in the blank, men, women, whatever, but I'm just so picky. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Oh my God, I am so picky too. And I have no problem finding somebody.
There you go.
There you have it.
I
The power
pushed
of
your balloon.
specificity.
Yeah. So I will often say to people, if your pickiness is not a problem, then it's not a problem. I mean, you can be as picky as you dare to be, or as much as the market is supporting your pickiness. That's how picky you can afford to be.
Well, that, and are you changing your standards with every person? Like, that goes back to knowing your why. Like, this is what kind of person, this is what kind of relationship, and yes, it's kind of out there, and I'm not going to settle for less.
So
That's super picky.
There's
But
picky.
you maintain your own standards, and you'll find it.
Yeah. Well, there's picky to the point of I'm so picky I'm going to make myself be alone forever,
Right.
rather than settle. And then there's having standards, and those are two totally different things. Selectivity, I'm all for it. I endorse your right to be selective. Pickiness, I see that as having a lot of negative energy behind it.
And it sounds like perfectionism to me.
It does.
I have to find the perfect person.
Yeah. So you're not going to find that Malibu Barbie with a PhD who's so kind and compassionate and taking in rescue dogs every weekend. But maybe you find, someone really wonderful with a warm heart and beautiful sparkling eyes and a sweet smile. And, you just have to
The
get...
same sense of humor,
Yeah.
the same goals, yeah.
Yeah, just understand
Exactly.
that sometimes the most wonderful person shows up in the packaging that you least expect.
For sure,
All right.
for sure.
Well, I want to give one last little opportunity for people to weigh in on the idea of self-sabotage and seeing, I want to thank Teresa and Crystal and Shannon and Adrian for all watching, and Fredo and Felix as well. So I want to say that if self-sabotage in the bedroom we didn't even get there. Is there anything we need to say about that?
Self-sabotage kept us out of the bedroom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Self-sabotage. If you're going through a big old dry spell,
If you want to get into your bedroom.
self-sabotage.
And that is also a valid relationship to look for.
Yeah.
Somebody that you just want to have a friends with benefit relationship with. Totally fine.
So if sex is the area kind of where you're stuck, Sarah's an excellent resource for that. I want to say a quick plug about your closed Facebook group for women.
Yes, Shameless You, with a U, not Y-O-U.
Like university.
Yeah.
You, not Y-O-U.
Yeah.
And it's a great forum for women to ask and in many cases answer each other's challenges around
Right.
sexuality and
We
sexual
talked
behavior.
about all kinds of things in there.
I mean, we've hit on some subjects that have been...
Everything.
Your mama didn't teach you that.
No,
I bet
she didn't.
to you that way.
And we've also talked about what do you do when you have a weird wrinkly belly. I mean,
Yeah.
we've run the gamut. And a lot of times people don't feel comfortable posting their own question, and so they'll ask me privately and I'll post for them, and that's totally fine too.
I like that.
Yeah.
So you have that Facebook group. What's another way that people can stay in touch with you if they want to know more about self-sabotage in business, life, sex, all the things?
I would love for you to reach out to me just here on Facebook. I'm tagged with this live, so you can just private message me there. I do have a course coming up. Kickoff is December 1st. I'm doing with another life coach. It's going to be super fun. And if you want to look at that, it's The link is bit.ly, it's a bit.ly link, bit.ly/raiseyourthreshold. It's all about self-sabotage. So,
and you're not taking very many people into that, right? You
Right.
have a limit, you have a cap on that.
Yes.
So people should probably kind of get on the stick.
you should get on the stick. And if you sign up by Wednesday, you get a free coaching session with me.
Oh, that alone is all the
pretty
bang
awesome.
for your buck that you need. So.
Yeah.
And you work with people all across the country, right?
All over the place,
yeah.
not just Wichita. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of my work is done over the phone or by video call, by
Yeah.
Zoom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to say that Sarah is a very cool yet compassionate coach, and I really like that style. I like that blend or that hybrid. There are life coaches that, I mean, there's a different flavor for everyone, right? There's a different style for everyone. Some are incredibly, just soft and gentle. Some are a little more butt kicking and like your athletic coach or trainer or something. And then some are in between. And I think one of the things that Sarah taught me was how to be more chill. I don't think that was a goal I had going in. But
Probably wouldn't have hired me for that.
Well, but that's what I needed.
But it's what you
And
needed.
it's how I benefited.
Yeah.
And I've literally had people say to me, "You're pretty chill." I'm like, no one would have said that about me 3 years ago. So
You've done so much work.
I've done a lot of work.
You are just an exceptional human being.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, pitter patter. So I do encourage you to, if you're watching this and you and I are working together in a date coaching capacity, or you're a matchmaking client of mine, or you're thinking about it, I would really recommend starting with Sarah's Self-Sabotage 30-day Fiesta. What boot camp? What is it?
It's a coaching course.
It's a
What
coaching
is it?
course.
It's a fiesta.
I don't know.
Oh
I
my
don't know.
gosh, it is a
Where that
fiesta. It's
came
going to be so
from.
fun.
A Christmas. Feliz Fiesta.
With room for siesta.
With room. Oh God, this could derail so quickly.
You have no idea where my brain is today.
Yes, and of course, if you would like to stay in touch with us at The Date Maven, the way to do that is here through Facebook or on Instagram. We would really, 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 really love it if you would subscribe to the YouTube channel. And my email address is susanna@thedatemaven.com. Now, I'm going to be taking a few days off over Thanksgiving, but I'm busy helping people find love through the holiday season. So
Of course.
this is the time.
We're not shutting down.
No.
This is not shutdown time.
No.
This
Yeah,
is wrap up time.
This is not a manufacturing facility where we shut down
No.
over the holidays. All right, thanks everyone for watching. There will not be a Flirty Friday next Friday because of Thanksgiving, but we will be back the Friday after that, and I look forward to bringing you more dating tips and insider advice through Flirty Friday, as well as the blog feed, Dates on the Plains. Thanks so much for watching. Mwah.
Mwah.